Okay, here we go. Monday. Let's get at it, boys. And yeah, so I was doing the show here today. We're going to be talking about stalls. Now, it's not the stall where you get trying to get that clutch and your gas all working out on your stick shift. Stall for an airplane is when the wing is not flying, and you're going to see an amazing, death-defying reenactment of what it's like to fly a plane when the wing's not flying. And I'm going to be doing that for you in my basement. So, hey guys, Corey, Nefarious, and Al, I see you guys in the chat. Very, very cool. Oh yeah, so I was googling through the Googles and YouTubing through the YouTubes the other day, and it's like I saw this video where they were talking about how people were afraid of stalling the airplane, and I've come across that a little bit in my career, but usually for spins, they're a little bit more anxious about it. But apparently, there's quite a few people there that really hate stalls. And well, if you're really close to the ground, yeah, you should hate them. But thing is, if you're way up in the air, I will demonstrate to you how really pretty benign they are. And so, just to clarify, when we're talking about stalling, I will bring out the KD-12X Mark II. Okay, so if this thing is flying through the air, everything's cool. We're all happy. We are flying through the air. Everything's great. Cool. All right, the wing is not stalled. As soon as I land it, the wing is no longer flying, and now it's stalled. The wing is stalled. So, or if you see the plane, it's parked over there on the outside the hangar. Yeah, the wing's stalled. It's not flying. So that's all it means in aviation, is like the engine will still be running, but if the wing is not flying, they call that a wing stall. And oh, hey Rick, I see you popping in here too. So yeah, I'll just kind of go through. Oh, here's another thing. It's a little story to get back talking about how the wing will fly. So I didn't really want this show to get into like about engine failures, and that would be confusing and stuff. But I was thinking about how even without an engine, your wing will fly. So, and that would be in me as a Canadian, I always remember the Gimli glider. So that was a 767 that ran out of gas. Oops, and it landed in Gimli, Manitoba, at an old Air Force base that was there. That was shut down, and just one of the pilots remembered, oh yeah, the Air Force base is there, we could probably land on that runway. But yeah, it was really actually pretty fascinating to read the Wikipedia write up on that whole thing. And another thing that really shocked me about that, well, by the way, all the passengers lived, and they fixed up the plane and used it for another few years after that. So good gliding job. And so gliders can stall too, by the way, and that's part of learning how to get your glider's license. From what I hear, I don't have a glider's license, but yeah, it was just really interesting to hear about that Gimli glider, and how afterwards it was weird because we kind of have a different safety system now in airlines or anything in aviation. It's a lot different than it was back in 1983, and I wrote it down here. It was the captain got demoted for 6 months. The first officer got suspended for 2 weeks, and there were 3 maintenance guys that got suspended. That would never happen nowadays. See, so just a little safety thing here too for anything. If you own a business and you want to have it safe, whether it's aviation or machine shop or whatever, you got mechanics shop. So those guys, they were punished for, yeah, they did kind of mess up. Oops. Nowadays they wouldn't be punished. They would be like, okay, retrained on something. They would change some rules so that couldn't happen again. But what happens if you actually punish an employee for like, say, the maintenance guys, they did something that was in the chain of events that led up to an accident. So what does that tell the maintenance guys? Oh, you see something wrong? Well, I'm not going to record that. I didn't see it. And then the next guy goes up flying and crashes. Like, that's not cool. So that's why we don't do it that way anymore. But that was from the meta safety standpoint, the Gimli glider, worth checking out. Okay, so we're going to be doing here, we are going to be talking about uh, do installs and how to, if you're a student or an instructor, this will be really interesting for you. Hopefully the other people, it'll be somewhat interesting too. Yeah, so stalls, like I said, it's when the wing stops flying. And the reason that we do that kind of stuff in aviation is to, number one, is just to avoid it in the first place. So you get exposed to, these are the symptoms of, whoa, hey, this wing is going to stop flying pretty soon here. And there's things, there's stall warning horns, there's if you're on like some bigger jets and stuff, they'll have a stick shaker, it'll start shaking on you saying, hey, stop pulling like a maniac. Oh, okay. And then you lower the nose, the wing starts flying. And that's all it is basically, is your wing, say you're in straight level flight, flying along, and maybe you're losing power or something. Maybe you got carburetor ice going on, you're losing power, losing power. So you're trimming it and you're getting your nose up like this. So if you're flying along normally, your wing should be nice and sort of flat like that. But if you're, unless you're like some Elon Musk rocket, you can't really fly like that. So somewhere in between here and here, the wing stops flying. It's usually up about 15, 17 degrees. And so when you are practicing, when you're up in the air, just about every airplane out there has a center of gravity here, and they'll always be nose heavy. So the way it's set up now, some of the fighter jets are not like that. So I think I've heard that the F-18 is just naturally unstable. What is it, the stealth bombers, stealth fighters, those things, they can only fly because they got weird shaped wings and they have kind of like a really far back center of gravity. So if you got center of gravity is way back here by the windows, or behind the wing, and then yeah, if your wing stops flying, you'll just kind of go like that, and that's uncontrollable. That's where you hit your ejection seat and away you go. But we don't have ejection seats in our planes. Today's demonstration will be as if I am flying a Cessna 172. Cessna 172 is the most popular airplane out there in the world. It's the most that they've ever made. It's kind of like the Volkswagen Beetle, that they made it forever and ever, and they're still making it. And so they're all over the place and extremely. I've heard the Cessna 172 as described as vanilla ice cream. It's like pretty bland, but it's still ice cream. So this 172, yeah, it's just got a really, it's kind of a high wing airplane. It's that high wing airplane you think of. And so anyways, I've got quite a few hours in there, and if you think about it as like landing an airplane, that's where the wing runs out of lift while you're ideally right on the ground. I've stalled airplanes thousands of times, so it's piece of cake and nothing to worry about. And I will show you how to not worry about it here on the Super Pilotish channel. So, okay, if I am up in my airplane and I'm flying around, having a good old time, not doing what my instructor told me to do, and I said, oh, that's right, I should probably practice some stalls, because we are tested on that on our flight test, private and commercial, varying difficulties of stall. So we'll be demonstrating a power off stall here in my chair in the basement. And so one of the things to remember about that is, okay, if your wing stops flying, like you're going to be basically your wing will stop flying if you have the controls all the way back in your gut, or all the way into your chest. It's gonna just kind of mush, and unless you got like I don't know, some kind of a really high powered plane, then you'll just be looping and looping and looping. But normal planes, you'll kind of run out of gas, or not run out of gas, you run out of lift, and you got your stick all the way back. And then if you let the stick and you're pulling like a maniac, it's very, very hard to do sometimes. And it's, yeah, it's just very unnatural to be yanking back like that. But maybe you'll freak out. I've never seen anyone freak out. And then I'll explain how my secret patented technique of getting students so that they don't freak out. Actually, it's basically I stall the airplane and I say, okay, don't recover at all. Just keep pulling it back. And then eventually they go, and then the plane starts flying again. I'm like, no, keep stalling it. And they're like, What? So I'll be like, yeah, let's okay, I'll show you what it's like. And then like I'll stall the airplane. And then what happens there? You usually get a little bit of a wing drop there. And so you always got to remember step on the high wing. So in this case here, I would be giving it right rudder. That's the high wing. And it won't flop over too much. In a Cessna 172, it turns into some kind of very benign, weird, sort of controlled spiral dive, but your speed doesn't really build up. You're just stalled and you're kind of buffeting around like this. So this is my demonstration of a student, how you can imagine if you're in a student and you're by yourself doing it for the first time. That could be kind of tricky too, for some people. And I will demonstrate how you do not need to be afraid of that. So, okay, here I am. I'm flying I'm a student. I'm by myself. Woo, I'm going to be doing a power off stall in my Cessna 172. And so we're doing this up at a nice safe altitude. And if you don't recover at all from the stall, you'll probably just kind of, like I said, you got your rudder in there. You'll just kind of do this for a few minutes. And then you'll, go down, maybe we'll say about 3,000 feet a minute. So by the time you're up here, you got 3 minutes before you hit the ground. Okay, that's cool. And I will demonstrate to you how long 3 minutes is. All right, so here we go. Let's see if this works. Look at this. Hey, the superpilotish channel. We got the timer here. So here I am. I'm in my airplane. I'm going to stall my airplane. And we're getting, the nose is getting higher. The airspeed's dropping off. And all of a sudden, and I'm pulling back like a maniac. And then all of a sudden I hear a stall warning horn. But I was like, okay, I'm going to keep pulling like a maniac. And oh my gosh, my plane just stalled. What should I do? I don't know. I'm all stressed out here. So what am I going to do first? Because my airplane wing is no longer flying, I'm going to get on my phone and I'm all stressed out. So like when I'm stressed out, I like to look at little kitten gifs, like little kitty cat gifs. So I'll get on Google here if I can get my phone all booted up. Oop, Chrome. Okay, here we go. We'll do a Google search for kitten GIF. All right. Kitten GIF. There we go. So my airplane is still not flying here, but I'm trying to not be too stressed out. And what else we got here? I don't want to sign into Google. Here we go. This guy's. Oh, that's a cute one. Here we go. All right, check it out. My airplane is still not flying. And check out this one here. Isn't that cute? My airplane is still not flying, and we got a cute little kitten. Okay, now I'm not stressed out anymore. I'll just shut that down. I'm going to call up, maybe you order a pizza. No. Okay, my airplane is still not flying. I'm going to call up the instructor and say what to do. Yeah. Okay, good thing I got that on speed dial. Yeah, I'd like to talk to an instructor, please. Yeah, I can hold. All right, and of course, my plane is still not flying at all. The wing is going around. Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's Graham, I'm up in the airplane right now. It's not the wing's not flying. Yeah, I'm still pulling. It's in the stall. Yeah, the engine's going. It's fine. I got that on idle. So okay. No, it's sticks all the way back. Yoke's all the way back. I got it. Oh, I'm not supposed to pull like a maniac. Yeah, I was thinking there. Oh well, there's a tractor down there. It's getting kind of bigger. I think it's a John Deere. It's green. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll stop pulling like a maniac. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, the stall warning went off. All right. Thanks. I'll get the power on there and level the wings. Okay. Yeah. I'll talk to you when I get back. Bye. Okay. Then you hang up your phone and put that away. And here we go. And then I just recovered my airplane and everything's cool. So that was a long time And I still had 18 seconds to spare before I hit the ground. So there we go. So you can see you got lots of time if you're up there in the air and your wing stops flying. There's no rush, and it's really you can call for help if you have to, but ideally just stop pulling like a maniac. So that's the most important thing here. If you're worried about stalling an airplane on your own, stop pulling like a maniac, and then it'll just start flying. You can figure it out from there. So that is my advice to you. And if you are an instructor, or if you are a student, if you're a student, run this video by your instructor, see what they think, you know. And so what else how can we also enjoy stalls? We also have to remember that if you stop pulling like a maniac, because our airplane has a it's kind of nose heavy there, it's like forward of the center. Center of gravity would be here, but it's like, it'll just kind of be nose heavy. It'll come down. Planes are nose heavy, so you're cool. Are nose heavy. Nothing to worry about. So it's kind of like if you have a dart. If you got, you're throwing your dart at the dartboard. An airplane is kind of like a dart when the engine's, if you don't do anything, the plane will just kind of go down like that if you have no power going. So what else we got to do? Stop pulling like a maniac. The nose will go down, and then after that, you're going to give it some power. Give it full power. And I guess what do we do here? And a lot of this stuff kind of happens simultaneously, but it'll just be kind of natural that the plane just kind of wants to fly on its own. So you use rudder and aileron as necessary. Aileron as necessary. Okay, this might not be exactly in the right order, so do it the way that your school teaches it. Some people word things differently, like relax the back pressure on your yoke. I say stop pulling like a maniac. Okay, rudder aileron as necessary. What else could we got here? There's other things that you should be doing beforehand, like hazel checks and looking out for traffic and making sure you got lots of altitude. That's your friend. You don't want to be stalling too close to the ground. That's where you get into trouble. And the way you avoid that is just keep your airspeed up, keep the ball in the middle, that little coordination ball thing, and you'll be good. Yep. What else can I tell you here? Have fun. Always have fun. Be safe and have fun. That's what we say here. I'll even put a smiley face on there. All right. There we go. 5 things to enjoy your stalls. Stop pulling like a maniac, and that gets rid of everything. And I don't really recommend looking at cute little kitten gifts, but I mean, they're cute. They kind of keep your stress level down. And remember that the nose wants to drop on you, and that gets the wing flying again, just like a dart. If you throw it up, it'll kind of go down like that. And you also, believe it or not, you also have an engine you can apply full power to. Rudder and aileron as necessary. Keep everything all coordinated and have fun. Don't worry about these stalls things. It's like I demonstrated to you. You got to really, really try. Like if you're practicing this up at like a high altitude, you got to really try and freak out and mess things up and start pulling all the, like if you just do nothing, the plane's just going to fly on its own pretty much. So that's just when in doubt, give up. And then the plane starts flying. Actually, I think that in Cessnas have in the older Cessnas, they have like what to do if what was it? It was like how to if inadvertent flight into cloud, if you didn't know how to get a fly on instruments and stuff. I think they say like put the trim all the way back, idle power, keep the wings level with rudder, or something like that, and then wait to pop out the bottom of the cloud. I think it was something like that in the old Cessna things. But so it was just designed, keep the wings level. It'll just kind of fly on its own. So there we go. Nothing too much to worry about there with your stalls. Hopefully that's and of course, if you haven't done one of these in a while, play it safe. Go up with an instructor, somebody like me that's stalled a plane thousands of times, or other people even hundreds. It's very easy for that's one of the easy things for a instructor to teach. It's just kind of like, all right, just stop pulling like a maniac and plane will fly. So here we go. Yeah, wrench is in here too. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if we got any questions here. Yeah, this was a little bit kind of airplane-y today, but it's an airplane channel. What do you expect? Okay. And you got to see a cute little kitten gif. So there you go. You don't get that on every channel. Okay. Here we go. Okay, good question here, Wrench. Doesn't a stall end up in a spin pretty often? Spins are scary. It depends on the airplane. Some airplanes are more prone to that than others. Cessna 172, I use that as an example. Okay, it's a very I've done it before with students to get over their fear of stalls and spins and stuff like that. Like I would demonstrate it. I grab the controls, I'll stall the plane, and I'll just keep it stalled. And then I'll look over at the student and go like, hey, or actually he'd be over here or she'd be over here. I'm like, yeah, we're stalled, man. You know how we fly again? We go like this. And then the stall warning horn goes off and level the wings. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, you try that. And then so I try to get the student to keep it in the stall, and they can't because their arms get tired from holding it. And then it's like the plane starts flying again. So you do that a few times with your students, and you really concentrate on them using the rudders to keep the wings level. You can do that in a 172. Other planes, yeah, you can. They call it a falling leaf stall. So the idea there is you stall the airplane, and depending on which wing goes down, you would use the rudder rather than the aileron. Because if you use aileron to level your wings like that, you stall the wing more because you increase the angle of attack. It's getting all kind of piloty there, but the idea is that if you use the rudder back here, this one has a rudder, yeah. So if I use the rudder here, it'll just kind of yaw the airplane like that. So this wing goes through the air just, if that's low, wait a minute, right rudder. Okay, I'm exaggerating here. So step on the high wing, I give it right rudder, boom, and then that yaws it this way so that this bottom wing is now going through the air faster than the other one, and that gives it more lift, and that'll bring it up, straighten out your rudder, and you're good. And you can kind of do like a little exercise doing that. Eventually, unless you're very, very coordinated, it will go into kind of a spin, but that's if you're pulling it all the way back, So if you release that back pressure, it pretty much immediately goes flying. But yeah, it's one of those things with spins is like some people hate them and they just always will. Some people, I kind of like them. I kind of find them challenging and it's kind of fun. Ooh, this is neat. It's kind of neat to see your student freak out the first time you do it too. So anyways, but yeah, spins can be scary. And it's one of those things that the more you get exposed to it, the less scary it is. But I will tell you too, it was like the very first spin that I did with a student, like where through spins are usually all done with an instructor on board. So the first time that you're a brand new instructor and you do this, well, you're the one, you have to save your own bacon for the very first time, and you got a student there, and that's like it's a little nervous, but you do it so much that in training that, hey, that worked. And then hey, surprise, that actually works because I've done it a bunch, and hey, now I just do this, and then now you can teach your student, and if they freak out, you can just grab the controls and do what you got to do. Make your $20 an hour. So, anyways, yeah. So, so stalls can turn into spins. The way you avoid that is just stop pulling like a maniac, wrench. There we go. It's no problem. And what else we got here? Okay, here we go. Tell us about a canard airplane stall. They don't. Yeah, that's right. Canard wing airplanes do not stall. It's the canard wing. Who was it? Bert Rutan. He did like a whole bunch of stuff with canard wings. That is where those are those funny looking planes that have. It's kind of usually they look like some kind of a little triangle type deal, and then they kind of go like this, and they have like a little wing up front. Okay, something like that. So you got your airplane, and it kind of looks like that. Sometimes they have little guys back here as rudders, and then you got, instead of having your elevator on the back there, your pitch is controlled by this canard wing up here. The idea there is that everything, okay, this airplane here with the tail, that's actually a downforce on the tail for stability, so that this is kind of like the lift of the wing is counteracting the downforce of the tail. So if you get going faster, then the tail's doing more funny stuff. And anyways, the dynamics of it, basically you have how would we put that? Yeah, faster you go, more downforce you're fighting, kind of thing. So it becomes kind of less efficient from a drag point of view. But if you got your canard wing here, this does not have downforce on it. So everything on the airplane is a lift force. So at high speeds, especially, it's very very efficient that way. That's what I know about it. Never flown one. I've seen them around though. They're pretty cool. Those are Piaggios. They make a lot of cool noise. But yeah, it won't stall because if the angle of attack is exceeded, it just kind of I'm acting like an airplane here. But yeah, it basically it won't stall, because if it gets up too high, it'll come back, and the wing won't stall. The nose will kind of go, it'll oscillate maybe, kind of thing, but it won't actually fall out of the sky. It naturally increases the angle of attack. Ooh, aren't we all cool here? What else we got here? Okay. Yeah, and I was talking to Al there the other day. He sent me an email, and yeah, my secret shirt supply is Shaka Time in Hawaii. So yeah, I got my shirts here. Like this is actually like a Magnum PI shirt. It was in, like, I don't know, promotional videos or something like that for Magnum PI. But yeah, I was looking for the actual red Magnum PI shirt, and I came across this company called Shaka Time, and then I ordered one, and it's like, it fit pretty good. And I like rayon myself, so it's because if it's really hot and you're sweating like crazy, it'll all blow around like I'm in Hawaii, and then it'll just kind of dry off. It doesn't get as soaked as like cotton. So, and yeah, so there we go. Secret shirt supply. I'm not sponsored by Shaka Time, but I like the rayon shirts. They seem to fit right, and the sizing guide for the chest and length and everything like that, it's good. So if you get the same shirt from the same company from Shaka Time, then all the cut will be the same. So anyways, here we go. Now we're talking about shirts. All right, so that is about it. Okay, today is Monday. Nice day. I think I might go for a little motorcycle ride today. It's just kind of cool enough that you can wear jeans and a leather jacket and it's not too hot and stuff like that. Got to go to the bank. And what else we got to do here? I don't know, Monday. Okay, so I'll be back on Wednesday, because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll just kind of shut her down here. And there we go. Thank you for watching. And stop pulling like a maniac. Bye.